and insights that you can use so it can truly make a difference in your life and in your business. And not only am I going to be sharing the most relevant updates, I'm also going to be sharing with you guys the most relevant news, trends, topics, and practical tips. That way, we all can stay ahead of the game with this type of information. So, without further ado, let's get started. And of course, get ready for a very good session that will empower you to have an edge as you are building your business. So, let's get straight into it. So, what is a living wage? Minimum wage doesn't come close to the living wage just about anywhere. How are people feeling and how are people making ends meet? So, I want to jump into a quick story with you guys of a woman named Tanika Williams, who is a single mother of 4 boys. And she lives in Cleveland, Ohio. So Kanika has 3 part-time jobs where she cleans homes, she delivers food with DoorDash, and she sorts mail for USPS. So that's already 3 jobs, and she's very active in her kids' school activities and cooks dinner for them every night, just like any other involved parent, right? Kanika says that she puts her life together like a quilt, meaning that she puts things like taking care of her kids, spending time with her friends, and making money. She puts all those 3 things together intentionally. She also says that her main priorities are having a roof over her head and knowing when her small necessary bills are paid. So these necessary bills are things such as light, water, the gas bill, insurance, and rent. She puts an emphasis on saying that her necessary bills do not include Netflix or any of those other things that are wants instead of needs, like Hulu, Disney Plus. You guys get what I'm saying. So Kanika feels that after her necessary bills are paid, that's when she has her freedom. So Kanika has a medical technician degree and says that the rise of gig jobs or gig work has given people like her, which are parents who are trying to always provide for their families, a sense of autonomy. Her gig work gives her $20 an hour, and her UPS job gives her $16.50 an hour. And with those 2 jobs combined, she brings home around 1,500 a month. So, guys, we just went over how she's a parent, she's a mom with 4 boys, and she has a responsibility of keeping a roof over their heads. And between both jobs, she's bringing in 1,500 a month. So when Kanika was asked what is a good living wage for her, she described it as being able to afford your bills, her monthly bills, and being able to put a portion of that money back towards monthly savings. And she also added for her specific household, she think that if she was able to make 35,000 a month, that she'd be living a good life from her good living wage. She also says that the extra money that's coming in with that 35,000 would get all of her bills paid and a little bit would go towards the bank and or oil change if she needed it. So she also mentioned that she fears that if she makes too much money, that they'll take away her benefits. And she fears that making more money will lead to her not being able to qualify, and that the extra amount of money that she'd be making does not replace the help that she's getting from her benefits, such as Medicaid or food stamps. She said that if they take away her food stamps, then the goal of what she's trying to achieve with bringing in that extra money would be taken away from her. So these families are honestly just trying to make the best of what they have. So if anything, government assistance is there, but it's rather complicated. Another thing that families were depending on was the enhanced child tax credit, and that was putting money into parents' pockets in 2020 and 2021 for food, housing, school, and this kept millions of American children out of poverty. but unfortunately, it was discontinued. It was also a point where Americans were depending on a stimulus check, and I'm sure we all remember that. And there's a labyrinth of government programs that are usually designed to be intentionally tough to access. So, given all of that, why not try to put yourself in a situation where you don't have to depend on the government to buy? And you can do this by building a business with us here in financial services. Build a business that generates income and that has the opportunity for you to make uncapped income. And here we give everyone the opportunity to do that. Your current situation doesn't have to be your permanent situation. And Kanika also mentioned that she wanted to make a extra 35,000 a month. And guess what? Here in this business, you can make that or even more. So that's just something that you should think about and consider. Moving into our next topic, AI could replace equivalent of 300 million jobs. So artificial intelligence, also known as AI, could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. It could replace a quarter of work tasks in the United States and Europe, but also may mean that new jobs and that there will be new jobs, but along with that, there will be a productivity boom. And it could eventually increase to the total annual value of goods and services produced globally by 7%. Generative artificial intelligence able to create content indistinguishable from human work is a major advancement. So the government is keen to promote investment in AI, which it says will ultimately drive productivity across the economy. We want to make sure that AI is complementing the way we work, not disrupting it, making our jobs better rather than taking them away. The report notes AI's impact will vary across different sectors. So 46% of tasks in administrative and 44% in legal professions could be automated, but only 6% in construction and 4% in maintenance. So lower wages. The only thing I am sure of is that there is no way of knowing how many jobs will be replaced by generative AI, says Carl Benedict Frame. What ChatGPT does, for example, is allowing more people with average writing skills to produce essays and articles. So journalists will therefore face more competition, which would drive down wages, unless we see a very significant increase in the demand for such work. Consider the introduction of ChatGPS technology and platforms like Uber. Suddenly, knowing all these streets had much less value. And so incumbent drivers experienced large wage cuts in response of around 10%. The result was lower wages, not fewer drivers. And if you guys tuned into yesterday's segment, I actually spoke about wages. So wages is already an ongoing issue. So people are saying, okay, why not raise our wages? But now we're hearing that with AI, it's going to have an effect on people's wages, making them lower than what they already are. Over the next few years, generative AI is likely to have similar effects on a broader set of creative tasks. So according to research, 60% of workers are in occupations that did not exist in 1940. But other researchers suggest technological change since the 1980s has displaced workers faster than it has created jobs. And if generative artificial intelligence is like previous information technology advances, it could reduce employment in the near term. The long-term impact of artificial intelligence, however, was uncertain. So all firm predictions should be taken with a very large pinch of salt. We do not know how the technology will evolve or how firms are going to integrate it into how they work. But that's not to say that AI won't disrupt the way we work. But we should focus too on the potential living standard gains from higher productivity work and cheaper to run services, as well as the risk of falling behind if other firms and economies better adapt to technological change. So piggybacking off of that, I want to share how ChatGPT may be coming for people's jobs. And I'm also going to share with you 10 roles that AI is most likely to replace. So experts are saying that ChatGPT and related artificial intelligence could threaten some jobs, particularly white collar ones, and it could do so by automating mid-career, mid-ability work. So since its release in November of last year, OpenAI's ChatGPT has been used to write cover letters, create children's book, and even help students cheat on their essays. So where was this when I was in school, right? So the chat bot may be more powerful than anyone has ever imagined. So Google found that in theory, the search engine would hire the bot as an entry-level coder if it interviewed at the company. And on the other hand, Amazon employees who tested ChatGPT said it does a very good job of answering customer support questions, and it's very great at making training documents, and it's very strong at answering queries around corporate strategy. Companies are taking notice of this. Both IBM and British telecommunications giant BT Group cited AI when they announced job cuts, and saying that many would not make a comeback. So while a 2013 University of Oxford study found that 47% of United States jobs could be eliminated by AI over the next 20 years, that prediction seems to have been off base. So AI tools could in fact impact 30 million full-time jobs worldwide, which could lead to a significant disruption in the job market. So a partner at the McKinsey Global Institute said that human judgment needs to be applied in these technologies to avoid error and bias. Users of ChatGPT also found that the bot can generate misinformation, incorrectly answer coding problems, and produce errors in basic math. So she's saying that we basically have to think about these things as productivity enhancing tools opposed to complete replacements. All right, so 10 jobs that could be at risk for replacement by artificial intelligence. So the first job, and I'm honestly not surprised, because if you guys have been tuning into my previous segments, you guys aren't surprised either. So the first one is tech jobs. So coders, computer programmers, software engineers, and data analysts. Coding and computer programming are in demand skills, but it's possible that ChatGPT and similar AI tools may fill in some of the gaps in the near future. Tech jobs such as software developers, web developers, computer programmers, coders, and data scientists are pretty amenable to AI technologies, displacing more of their work. And that's because AI, like ChatGPT, is good at crunching numbers with relative accuracy. Advanced technologies like ChatGPT could produce code faster than humans, which means that work can be completed with fewer employees. So what took a team of software developers might only take some of them. Tech companies like ChatGPT makers OpenAI are already considering replacing software engineers with AI. In terms of jobs, and I quote, "I think it's primarily an enhancer than full replacement of jobs. Coding and programming is an example of that. It can actually write and code quite well." So if you ask me, this is crazy, because how is technology moving more advanced than human beings, right? So people are being replaced by a piece of technology that works better than themselves. Second on the list is media jobs. So advertising, content creation, technical writing, and journalism. So media jobs across the board, including those that have any role that involves content creation may be affected by ChatGPT and similar forms of artificial intelligence. That's because AI is able to read, write, and understand text-based data pretty well. Analyzing and interpreting vast amounts of language-based data and information is a skill that you'd expect generative AI technologies to ramp up on. So economist Paul Krugman said in a New York Times op-ed that ChatGPT may be able to do tasks like reporting and writing more efficiently than humans. The media industry is already beginning to experiment with AI-generated content. So tech news site CNET actually used a AI tool similar to ChatGPT to write dozens of articles through the publisher, even though the publisher has already had to issue a number of corrections. And BuzzFeed has used tech from the ChatGPT maker to generate new forms of content like quizzes and travel guides. So there's tons of human judgment that goes into each of these occupations. So legal industry jobs are going to be affected as well. So paralegals and legal assistants. So generative AI may most likely affect legal workers in the United States. And that's because the number of jobs in legal services is relatively small and have already been highly exposed to artificial intelligence automation before the advent of new AI tools. Like media roles, jobs in the legal industry, such as paralegals and legal assistants, are responsible for consuming large amounts of information, synthesizing what they learned, and then making it digestible or understandable through a legal brief or opinion. Language-oriented roles like these are susceptible to automation. The data is actually quite structured, very language oriented, and therefore quite amenable to generative AI. But it's almost like a bit of a productivity boost that some of these occupations might get because you can use tools that actually do this better. So next is market research analyst. So AI is good at analyzing data and predicting outcomes. That is why market research analysts may be susceptible to AI-driven change. So at this point, it just seems like, what can't AI do? Market research analysts are responsible for collecting data, identifying trends within that data, and then using what they found to design an effective marketing campaign or decide where to place advertising. So those are things that we're now seeing that AI could handle. So next, this one actually surprised me, and it's teachers. So teachers across the country are worried about students using ChatGPT to cheat on their homework assignments. But an associate dean in the Department of Computing and Information Sciences at Rochester Institute of Technology also said that they should be thinking about their job security. ChatGPT can easily teach classes already. Although it has bugs and inaccuracies in terms of knowledge, this can easily be improved. Basically, you just need to train the ChatGPT. But Shannon, a high school math and science teacher who uses ChatGPT to do things like lesson planning, said that she's not worried she'll be replaced by the tech. And I quote, she said that there will always be a need for the human connection that comes with in-person instruction. So despite the news I'm sharing with you guys, there's still people out here who still believe that they're irreplaceable. I guess we're just gonna have to see about that. Next on the list is finance jobs, financial analysis, personal financial advisors. Stay with me here. So like market research analysts, financial analysts, personal financial advisors, and other jobs in personal finance that require manipulating significant amounts of numerical data can be affected by AI. AI can definitely identify trends in the market, highlight what investments are doing better and worse, and their AI is able to communicate all of that. And then they use various other forms of data. So these analysts make a lot of money but parts of their jobs are automatable. Along with that comes traders. So experts are saying that ChatGPT could upend jobs across a range of Wall Street industries, from trading to investment banking. So Dylan Roberts says that it's going to automate select tasks that knowledge workers are engaged in today so that they can focus on higher value tasks. And the dean at the Rochester Institute of Technology also agrees that certain Wall Street roles could be in jeopardy. And I quote, at an investment bank, people are hired out of college and spend 2-3 years to work like robots and do Excel modeling. Now you can get AI to do that. So there's people who spent time in school learning how to be good at their profession just so that a piece of technology could come and all of a sudden be better than them. That says a lot. Graphic designers are also on this list as well. So in a December Harvard Business Review post, three professors pointed to DALL-E, which is an AI tool that can generate images in seconds, as a potential disruptor of graphic design industry. Upskilling millions of in their ability to create and manipulate images will have a profound impact on the economy. These recent advances in AI will surely usher in a period of hardship and economic pain for some whose jobs are already directly impacted and who find it hard to adapt. But Dr. Carl Benedict Frey, an economist at Oxford University, mentioned that AI tools like ChatGPT may actually help workers in creative industries like art and graphic design produce higher quality work. He also said that he is more concerned about how the tech will impact wages. He also said that in his view, it's less about automation. It's more about democratization and competition, potentially leading to lower wages for people in some of these professions. Accountants are on this list as well. So accounting is generally viewed as a very stable position, but even employees in this industry could be at risk. Technology hasn't put everyone out of a job yet, but it does put some people out of a job. Intellectual labor in particular could be threatened. So this could be lawyers, accountants, and it's something new, and it will be interesting to see just how disruptive and painful it is to employees and politics. And then we have consumer agents who are last on the list. So in last 10th place comes customer service agents. So you guys have probably already experienced calling or speaking with a company customer service, and then you have a robot answer. I know for me, like the other day I called Macy's to ask what floor can I find a specific pair of boots, and a robot picked up the phone and actually told me where I could go. Like the robot understood me and gave me directions as to what floor I need to go so I could find the boots. So this isn't anything new. And having ChatGPT and related technologies could continue this trend. A study from 2022 from the tech research company Gartner predicted that chatbots will be the main customer service channel for roughly 25% of companies by 2027. So that's 4 years, you guys. 2027 is 4 years away. I just gave you guys a list of 10 jobs that are in jeopardy with ChatGPT and AI. And if you guys are using Instagram and TikTok, and that just means that you guys have been seeing these trends where people are using AI technology to see what their baby would look like if they had a kid, just by using a photo of themselves. So the takeaway that I've gotten from all of this is that this AI technology is super advanced, and it doesn't take much to edit it or enhance it if the results aren't super high quality. And this is just another factor that is playing into people's jobs not being permanent or stable. And if you guys have tuned into my previous segments, I've spoken on topics where people have been losing their jobs and being unemployed by their employers. And the information that I've just shared with you guys just goes to show how jobs and employers are very open to trying new things, even if that means laying off employees or cutting off staff. It also goes to show that this whole thing of workers being laid off, like, it doesn't seem like anyone is trying to find a solution to this. It doesn't seem like anyone's saying like, okay, well, how do we make it to a point where no one's getting laid off or less people are getting laid off? Instead, some companies are letting AI sweep in and do its thing without needing human employers. It all just goes hand in hand with what I've been saying about jobs not being stable or permanent, because at any moment you could lose your position because of a reason that's beyond you. Whereas on the contrary, here, when people start business with us and go into business with themselves, you're your own boss, which means that it's no way that you could get laid off. And I don't know about you guys, but personally, I prefer going into business for myself and being my own boss over being an employee where my time is controlled, my money is controlled, and my position is controlled as well. Because if you think about it, if your employer is saying that your time is up and you have to leave, like, you can't no longer work here, you have to leave. Like, I can't debate that. And even then, I wouldn't even want to debate that or stay at a job that got rid of me. I truly believe that the solution is going into business for yourself. You work where you want, wherever you want, whenever you want. And you can do it from the comfort of your home or from anywhere you have Wi-Fi. You could be in Hawaii. And as long as you have Wi-Fi, you'll be able to work on your business and still generate income. So with that being said, that concludes today's segment. I hope it was helpful and I hope you guys learned something new. Please share this video with more people because more news like this needs to be shared, especially when it's affecting a super large group of people across the country. So don't forget to share, like, and comment your experiences or your comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Mya Henry, and thank you for tuning